What do you think about Gervais' famous quote that goes, "A Christian telling an atheist they're going to hell is as scary as a child telling an adult they're not getting any presents from Santa"? I just wish so much our Western culture didn't revolve around Christian metaphysics. I'm tired of the same trite mumbo-jumbo human holocaust bullshit, the Caucasian-centric superhero, the orthodox pudor that aids in the creation of sexually immature masses of mentally ill people. I wish we had religions a bit more akin to some Asian religions. They have their issues, yes, but at least I can actually have a conversation about them without all the thousands of years of bullshit piling up before I have to tell the person that I'm trying to take an anthropological look at the situation. I've realized I have a form of privilege growing up in Australia that I wasn't aware of until now. Growing up in a non-religious family, in a non-religious society. There's literally almost no pressure to believe in God in Australia. To the point where our last Prime Minister who was religious was looked at askance for being religious. I think they still do say the Lord's Prayer in Parliament and most people still call themselves Christian here, but don't be a God botherer, don't be earnestly Christian and try to proselytize or you'll be told piss off. Around here most people aren't usually too offended when I say I'm an atheist. But then again, this city I live in is known for having nice people. It's mostly Hispanic folks here. I imagine most of them are fairly religious. In any case, I don't think it is proper for people to try to force religious beliefs on others or pressure people into discussing it. If that offends someone, oh well. I don't mind that people are religious, so why can't they do the same for me? Gervais has an knack for turning a thought into a chuckle, and this quote is no exception. It's like comparing apples to non-existent oranges. The idea that an atheist might not be concerned about hell is akin to a kid confident that Santa won't skip their house. Both scenarios have a touch of whimsical disbelief. Just goes to show, humor can be the seasoning that makes even serious discussions a bit more palatable. Christians love telling other people you are going to hell. It's very strange. The only people who have told me I am going to hell are Christians. I am a Christian. But apparently, not the right kind to most. So that means, I guess I'm going to hell. Not much of a fan of people who obsess with the afterlife. Seems almost against the teachings of Christ. Let tomorrow worry about itself. I can't stand Ricky. I remember him at an award ceremony, stating that no one wants to hear from actors or producers talking about the environment or politics, as they didn't have a clue, weren't educated in it and had no qualified opinion. He then in his next breath, started going on about how religion isn't true. The complete hypocrisy surprised me with just how it didn't even register on him. It's not entirely accurate. Christians shouldn't be condemning anybody, unless they want to be condemned in the same manner. This is like somebody being told that they'd get a prize for being nice, so they think this means they can be dicks to people who they think aren't being nice and that makes it okay. It's like dehumanization with extra steps. I doubt Ricky Gervais has ever been in a situation where he's regularly encountered devout religious people in his everyday life. He's constantly offended by what would be an extremely rare and niche interaction for someone who grew up in reading and now lives in the posh of London and New York. If a Christian says to me, "You're going to hell," or if anyone tells me, "Go to hell," then my simple response will be, "Santa isn't real," and go on about my business. If they continue, then I might add, "I'd tell you to get fucked, but Santa won't leave you any presents." By how most religious people act, I'd be very happy to not have to spend eternity with him. And if there truly were a separation between heaven and hell like this, I don't think heaven would be such a great place filled with all those religious people. I think a Christian telling anyone they're going to hell is a pretty sorry state for the Christian. I also think that asking Reddit what they think of the quote and you will get a lot of people blowing bubble pipes going indubitably, "I'm going to hell for being a non-believer anyway. If I get painfully ill I will end my life with or without a doctor and I will not claim to accept Jesus at that point. So if heaven and hell exist I am already fucked, so why care?" As an atheist who lived in the Bible Belt for a few years, I can tell you he's spot on. Christians give off strong nice guy vibes, when they hear the words "I'm not religious." I mean, yeah, that seems obvious. You're threatening someone who doesn't believe in something with an element of that thing. Ricky is like a 13-year-old who just read a Nietzsche quote on Instagram and now thinks he's smart for being an atheist. I think Gervais is a boring dick who's never had an original thought in his life. Not a Christian, just don't like him. I find it ironic, considering the statement itself is a consolation for the atheist whose faith is wavering. It's pretty spot on. Regardless of the validity of the statement, it accomplishes nothing in the moment. Dull, dry and uninteresting. Pretty much on par for the original James Corden. Josh Thomas says, That's like a hippie threatening to punch me in the aura. Uninsightful, obvious, cliched. Find better material. Gervais is a hack.